What a sorry sight Dr. John Campbell has become. I don't mean that in a bad way or a mean way. I mean it in. It's just the saddest way imaginable. He was a leading light, a source of calm for many people during the initial period of COVID, providing what he thought was accurate scientific data and the current updates from the government, and really unpacking these things into things people could really understand. And I know that he feels he has been misled by governments, by institutions, by scientists, and in turn him being misled led to him misleading everyone. I know he feels, he may not have said it, but I know he feels an incredible sense of betrayal. And I can't say I blame him. And that's why this decline into bitterness is really, that's why I say it's a sort of supervillain situation, because this is a good man who is scorned. And he's coming out with a lot of rubbish at the moment. Now I'm just going to unpack this latest video he's put out, which is just utter gibberish. He uploaded Andrew Bridgen's speech. Andrew Bridgen, the Conservative or former Conservative MP who was thrown out of the party for comparing certain elements of the vaccine to certain elements of the Holocaust. Andrew Bridgen did a speech on the vaccine in Parliament. And this Andrew Bridgen, bearing in mind, this is a man who's never shown an ounce of passion for anything in his life other than vendettas against Keith Vaz and John Bercow. It's really sad to see Andrew Bridgen pretending he cares about the health of children when he's consistently voted against measures that would help the poorest children in our society. So I have no love for Andrew Bridgen, I can assure you. He's a charlatan at best. So John Campbell liked his speech, agreed with almost everything within the speech, and that's fine. That's up to him. I take no issue with that. I honestly take no issue with that. He's perfectly within his right. If there's enough science and enough data behind something that John Campbell believes it, cool, he can do that, right? That's his opinion. What I won't have, though, is him regurgitating shite that he sees on GB News or he sees on Twitter. And he's really, this is what I mean. He is falling down the rabbit hole, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to escape it, because the bitterness in him is clearly, the sarcasm in his voice at all times, the bitterness towards people who he thinks misled him. And again, the jury's out on whether they did. I mean, is it out anymore? Probably not. I mean, it's fairly conclusive that we were misled in various elements of COVID. So I understand his primal annoyance at everyone he trusted. I understand. But what I cannot accept is coming out with stuff like this. So let's just watch.
Oh, well, welcome to this video. It's Sunday the 19th of March. Now, you probably watched that video we used a few days ago from Andrew Bridgen, Member of Parliament, who gave a speech in Parliament in the UK, questioning, shall we say, the official government narrative on COVID vaccination. And of course, it was given to an empty house. But I'm going to show you something now which is bemusing at best and really quite sinister at worst.
All right, so remember, this is a man who bases everything, or previously based everything, in fact prides himself on science, facts, data, Watch him here. Just.
Let's just have a look at the clip now that was played, or they managed to get from the parliamentary cameras. It's not very good resolution, but try and watch it. Just stick with this. Really quite interesting. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker introduces Mr. Bridgen. Everyone starts leaving as if on cue, but this guy here comes across and talks to these two opposition MPs who promptly leave.
Now, we know what he's getting at already, but I'll let him just continue digging.
What is going on here? Now let's look at this again. Mr. Bridgen there begins his speech again. Let's look at this again. So Mr. Speaker announces now this guy here from the second bench.
So he's suggesting there's a chain of events here. So this guy on the second bench,
Conservative bench, he taps this guy on the shoulder as if to say, "Oi, go and do your job, mate."
Okay. Remember, facts, science, data. Where is this coming from?
He immediately gets up. These two are sitting here waiting for the debate to begin.
He says that. They're sitting there waiting for the debate to begin. What? We'll get to that.
He walks across, crouched.
This is normal, by the way. This is quite normal. They don't want to block the view of other people who may be... So this is really normal. You'll see it all the time, in fact. People walking oddly, like crouching to almost be as invisible as possible, but oddly making themselves often look silly and more visible. But this is perfectly normal.
These two seem to see him coming. He walks up, he points, he presumably says something. And then they promptly leave. So tap, get up, walk across, tell them to leave. Obediently, I assume these are Lib Dem MPs.
See, what is he talking about? Tap, walk across, ask them to leave obediently. There's nothing to suggest any of this. Where is he getting this from? This is, honestly, the ramblings of a madman who cannot see the wood from the trees. It's really sad to really sad to see what's happening to him here.
They leave, and he walks back crouched just in case anyone sees him. And
he walks back crouched just in case anyone sees him. Oh yeah, we can't see the 6 foot tall man who's crouched. He's now 5'8". Oh, we can't see. How low would you have to crouch to be invisible to these to everyone here? You'd have to crawl under the rug, or you'd have to be downstairs in the floor below. There is no way of crouching so you can't be seen. He is talking shit.
And makes a sharp exit from the chamber, crouched over, in case he's observed.
Are you listening to this?
And these two leave, and everyone else leaves, and the entire benches leave, and Mr. Bridgen begins his speech.
That's just one thing to note. It's really sad to see Andrew Bridgen speaking, and there is no one on the adjacent benches. There's no one on the opposition benches. So
rather strange, some might think.
And I say it's sad because, everyone deserves to be heard. And I know people can, it can be watched back on BBC Parliament or whatever, but just hear him out and debate him. But this is how we defeat things. This is how arguments are defeated. You debate them, and you defeat them that way. You don't ignore the person. This is the problem. The anti-vax argument, they aren't even willing to debate it. It's seen as so despicable that we're not even going to speak to these crazy people. Just debate it. try and win the argument. Try and win these people over. If you can't, then that's it. That's what happens in a debate. You try, but to just not turn up, and I find this whole thing rather lazy.
Now, if you're from the United Kingdom, you'll realise just what a bizarre event we've just witnessed on these videos. Absolutely incredible. It's almost as if the opposition is obeying exactly what the government benches have told it to do.
Where is he getting this from?
No, the whole point of parliamentary democracy is we have an opposition.
You see, this is what I mean. He's unraveling. Nothing. He can't even be bothered to do the. I'll show you why he's wrong in a second, but he can't even be bothered to do the most basic of research anymore. He's just seen this and decided it's the worst case scenario. They're all in cahoots.
So Mr. Bridgen could have given his speech, and then the opposition could have said, well, thank you for your advance notice of this speech, Mr. Bridgen. I've had opportunity to consult with Professor so-and-so from such and such a university, and he puts a different interpretation on this figure. Let's discuss this. Let's debate this. That's the whole point of Parliament. Or while I accept your figures, Mr. Bridgen, because they're government figures, we have to accept those, let's consider your interpretation of them.
He's right here. This is exactly what I just said. He's absolutely right. This is what we should. This is the whole point of parliamentary debate. So he's absolutely right on this. If you feel so strongly about it, if everyone feels so strongly about it that they can't be bothered to turn up, then that must mean that there's a debate worth having.
The possible interpretations and other possible correlations. That's what government opposition is supposed to do. Complete, utter failure to do that. And now I think I know who the individuals were on this on this video, but I'm not going to say because I can't absolutely confirm it. But this is utterly bizarre. Does it mean all this Punch and Judy politics that we have across the dispatch box is just a complete sham? Because we've got here the Conservative front bench saying to the opposition, apparently, oh, off you go, and them saying, oh, yes, sir, certainly, sir.
Right.
It just doesn't. It goes against the fund. It's a bit like if you're in the States. Let's imagine Donald Trump says to Nancy Pelosi, would you be free for a romantic dinner for two? And she says, oh, yes, Mr. Trump. Oh, and by the way, I do hope you're free for a couple hours afterwards. It just doesn't happen. You know.
I've no idea what that analogy was. He's losing it.
We don't have this cross aisle, as we call it, separation. So something very strange going on here, at best bemusing. And the way that Tory guy sort of snuck out like that, it's just, we need explanations for this. We need transparency.
Jesus. So the way he snuck out like that, like he's in plain sight of about 60 cameras in the House of Commons, more maybe. The idea that he's sneaking out like a cat burglar, no, it's normal. I could show you so many videos of people leaving the chamber like that. Again, if he did the smallest amount of research instead of just, again, just he's in the fucking hole. He's in the fucking rabbit hole. He's in there. And he can't see the light anymore.
And I know thousands of you have asked for it on the comments. What has gone on here? Is there some sort of official narrative that's being enforced that the opposition are colluding with? Well, that video could intimate that. Who knows?
And he gets annoyed that he's accused of misinformation. That's the thing. He gets annoyed that he is accused of misinformation. Fuck. If you just stuck to the facts, if you just stuck to the science and argued your corner about vaccines, you wouldn't, honestly, you wouldn't be accused of being batshit crazy, a batshit crazy conspiracy theorist. But this sort of shit, this is what does it. This is bewildering, right?
Some might think it intimates that. It looks like it could intimate that. Of course, we hope it's not the case, and we look forward to clarification and transparency. So let's hope we get some transparency on this issue soon.
I mean, look at this. Look at this. I mean, this is worrying, isn't it? That he's gone to lengths to create this. I am really saddened to see this. This image is indicative of how far this man has fallen. He's in with the crowd. And listen, when you're in with the crowd, when you're in with those people, it's so hard to get your credibility back. He had credibility in abundance, and it's honestly, I really like the guy. I liked the guy, and I just, yeah. Imagine creating this. Look at this. It's honestly like watching just a good guy just disintegrate before your eyes.
Because barriers to transparency are indeed unwelcome.
I mean, look at that. That's only a mad person would create that. But he feels the need. Why don't he just say it? He could just say barriers to transparency are unwelcome. The fact he's created that, yeah. That brings me on to what actually happened. Now, MPs were, as you can see, according to this, debating the Animals Low Welfare Activities Abroad Bill at third reading. So, this gentleman now, this here is coming to a close, and this gentleman here is going to stand and announce what the next reading is.
Palestine Statehood Recognition Bill, second reading.
So that was it. Palestine Statehood Recognition Bill, second reading. So, who's there?
Layla Moran.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy.
Now, look here. She stands up. There's Bridgen waiting because he knows he's up next. So she stands up. This is her bill. This is her bill that we are getting the second reading of. And this person next to her clearly is a supporter of this bill. That's why they are there. They aren't there to listen to Andrew Bridgen waffling about vaccines. You know, whether or not he's right, I don't know. But they aren't there to listen to him waffle about this. And he's not there to listen to them waffle about this. He's there for his own purpose. He's got there in time because he has to be there in time. Because if you're not there and you're called, then you're an idiot, basically. So this is it. So they were already there. This is her bill. This is Linda Moran's bill, or Layla Moran, sorry. This is Layla Moran's bill about Palestine. That's why they are there. Okay? Simple. So after their bill reading is over, if they don't want to listen to Andrew Bridgen, they'll leave. She talks at great length, as you can see, for about, 12 minutes or so. Longer. Hold on. Yeah, so, yeah.
There is no one thing that is...
So there she's still speaking. So she's speaking for a good 12 to 15 minutes.
I will.
So, Layla Moran gives way. Who does she give way to? Well, hell. Just listen to this so it gives some context to what actually happens later.
Thank you very much. I congratulate the Honourable Lady on bringing this bill. On the back of the comments from the Honourable Gentleman who knows a lot about this, can I just say that we are clear we want to see the creation of a...
It's our man. It's our man, the sneaker, the cat burglar, the controller of the Commons, the one who tells the Liberal Democrats, no, Andrew Bridgen's about to speak, so fuck off. No, he is there to respond to her and this Palestine statehood recognition bill, second reading. So, is it not all beginning to make sense? Just doing a modicum of research, just the smallest amount, that what you are witnessing here is those two Liberal Democrats sitting next to each other, one of them presenting her bill, the Palestine statehood recognition bill. This man responds to it, and after his response, he praises her. He praises her bill. So, and then we finally get to the adjournment debate that Andrew Bridgen was granted. Now, he starts speaking about the COVID, blah, 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 and
Mr. Deputy Speaker, on
the man who responded to her and complimented her, praised her on the Palestine bill, comes over and probably, I don't want to get down in the weeds of speculating what was said here, but probably said something along the lines of, oh, we'll have a chat outside. Or, well done for bringing this forward. Or anything. Because people, crossbenchers can get along. Cross party, you don't have to all hate each other like everyone wants everyone to do in the political world. If you vote for Labour, it must mean you hate all people who vote Conservative or Liberal Democrat or anything for that matter. It's not how it works in the real world. So this man's probably just going to go over there and say, well done on the bill, or something like that.
13th of December last year, I was kindly granted an adjournment debate on the potential harms.
It's almost like, I'll meet you out there in 1 minute or something like that. It doesn't say, fucking get out. Bridgen's about to fucking waffle about COVID. You need to get the fuck out of here. I'm raging with John Campbell, to be honest. But this is what happens when you fall down the rabbit hole. You're stuck. And everything, like I say, everything becomes blurry. Nothing is real anymore. Hard to distinguish fact and fiction.
That emergency use experimental mRNA COVID-19.
And the reason he's ducking out the way is just respectfully because Andrew Bridgen's speaking, and this is what people do. They respectfully, looks stupid, I know, but they respectfully try and not block people's view of the person who is speaking. That's how it works in Parliament. So he didn't tell them to fuck off. He didn't sneak out like a cat burglar. It's not sinister. John Campbell said it's bemusing at best, sinister at worst. It's neither. It's not bemusing when you put it in context.
19 vaccines cause. It's fair to say that night my life changed.
Anyway, now I just thought I'd show you that because sad to see a good man crumbling before our eyes.